Hey, besties. Welcome to another episode of Can I Bring My Book, the podcast, where we, Kat and Amanda, talk about all things books, what's happening, what's coming, and what we've been reading. So, first up, Kat, what have you been reading?
Okay. So there's really only one thing that I finished this week because I had to finish it this week, right? And it's the same thing you finished this week because if not, we had nothing to talk about this episode.
Well, good
So,
job on finishing.
woo, I did finish that. I'm still reading The Astral Library by Quinn
Okay.
and So Happy Together by Olivia Worley. That's my workbook.
Mm,
I'm listening to that in the car,
yep.
but I had to stop listening to that in the car to listen to the Abby Jimenez in the car. So that got put on hold. And then while it was on hold, speaking of hold, my hold with the library expired. The library owns two copies, and everybody in my work is doing the same thing that I'm doing. So one of them has my hold right now. And I was like, whatever, it's fine. Because it's on Kindle Unlimited. So I can read it. It's
Yeah.
fine. And I also technically am reading Women Living Deliciously by Florence Given, but I have been technically reading that for more than a month.
That's okay. There's no, like, you can take as long as you want when it comes to books.
And by technically reading, I mean I read a chapter and then it's been sitting on my dresser for,
Yeah.
I'll get back to it maybe,
Yeah. I do
or
that.
return it to the library.
I do that all the time with books. Sometimes you just gotta let it, like, sink in, right?
Mm-hmm. What are you reading?
So I'm reading the list of suspicious things by Jennie Godfrey, and I am still on Heretical Fishing by Haylock, Jobson. That is my audiobook that I'm reading.
Which is fiction, not nonfiction.
Still fiction. Yes, and then as Kat mentioned, we did both read the new Abby Jimenez, The Night We Met. And so that is what we are talking this week as our buddy read chat. So now, Kat, this was what, your third Abby?
Fourth, fifth.
Fourth Abby, okay. What'd you think?
Fourth in a novella.
Okay. Okay.
So fifth.
What'd you think?
It was good. I enjoyed it. I like the way that she does like true conversation between characters.
Yeah.
I feel like she does a really good job with her dialogue. And I also like how she handles more serious topics
Yes.
with her writing. And yeah, I think that I like this set of characters more than I like the set of characters from her first series,
Okay. Okay.
which I think is called the Friend Zone series, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like these ones are a little bit more personally relatable
Mm-hmm.
than that first set of characters. But yeah, I still enjoyed those
Mm-hmm.
ones too. What did you think?
Now, was this your first time doing an audiobook of hers?
No, I've done other audiobooks as
Okay,
well.
okay, okay. Yeah. No, I absolutely loved it. I devoured it that that same day. Yeah, no, it was super fun. Like this was a little bit different though. It was a little
Hmm.
bit different, and I mean, and even in like the author's note at the end of the audiobook, like, she kind of explained it. And
Hmm.
I really like, so as we're going through the story, I mean, like you really connect with these characters, Chris and Larissa, and but then you're also connecting with like the side characters, like
Hmm.
Chris's, his best friend is her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And you want her to end up with Chris, but you also like don't want anything to happen to Chris's best friend.
Yeah, Mike it was a very frustrating character.
Yes, I mean, like, he was, but also like he meant a lot to Chris.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah, I'm interested to see because from my understanding, this is going to be one book per friend in the friend group,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So I am very interested in seeing what Mike's story, his actual story, ends up looking like. Because I feel like right now he is in a rebuilding phase of his life, right? He hit rock
Yes.
bottom. By the end of the book, him and Chris are at a at a point where they're willing to talk to each other again
Hmm.
and they're willing to work through the hurt that Mike caused
Hmm.
and the hurt that Mike is going through.
Yep.
But I am interested to see how that translates to him starting a new relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if he's going to be the fourth book
Possibly. Yeah.
because you have, but I guess my other issue, and now we're going in my weird world because you also have Jesse
Hmm.
and Becca.
Yeah.
Is it Jesse? Like there's it's Xavier, Chris, Jesse, and
Yeah.
Mike, but Jesse might be a name that I made up.
Pretty sure that's
And
right.
so
Yeah.
we're gonna go with it.
Yeah. Jesse.
So is that just gonna be the Jesse Becca? Because Jesse and Becca are already in a relationship. Like I don't, yeah. So are they gonna do that story? Or is she gonna write that story?
Wait. Let's see.
Or is something gonna happen? Like, because it's Abby Jimenez, and she's not afraid to just kill the boyfriend, and we already know that motorcycle accidents happen. So I'm just saying, like, I'm interested. First off, I'm interested to see how Mike's story plays out because I feel like there is a lot there, and he kind of has a lot to overcome.
We don't know what's going to happen with Jesse.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm predicting that Becca's gonna die.
Possibly.
That's my guess.
I don't know why I'm sitting in the dark now, but
I don't know either, but I love it.
I'm sitting in the dark now.
Do you want me to, I can turn my light off and then I can too be sitting in the dark like that. It's fine. We can meet energies of solidarity.
Bring me back.
So I don't know if you noticed, but I did play a little game with you this week. Did you notice my game?
Oh no.
I think you did notice. You just didn't realize I was playing a game. So on Wednesday at 7:24 a.m., I sent you a text message, and it just was three deer in a trench coat.
Oh my god.
Then Wednesday at 4:34 p.m., I sent you a text message and it was carpool up with him, then you can ride back down with me. Shortly after that, I texted you, and once I fucked a guy because he had marionettes.
I hate you.
And then on Wednesday at 10:51 p.m., I texted you, we buddy read everything. I also then texted you, pick a different door. And I think that might have been the end of my game. Yes, because by then I was done.
And I think I just didn't respond to that one.
The pick a different door, you know. I'm sorry. Would you like your responses to all of that? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, listeners. You probably want those too. One moment while I scroll back up. So the first one for three deer in a trench coat, I remember what you responded. You asked, "Is that a book title?" And I was like, I didn't respond, by the way, because I'm not telling you what I'm doing. Obviously, that's my game. So then after, goodness, we text a lot, by the way. So okay, you're like, is that the name of the book? And I was like, nope. And then you sent me the confused lady gif, which I loved. And I said, it's a quote. And then nothing. You just left me alone.
Yeah, then I had to like I was like scratching my head the rest of the day. I even told Coco, I'm like, do you know this quote?
No, Coco would not know that quote. The next one was carpool with him up with him, then you can ride back down with me. And you responded with, well, obviously, but I'd prefer to just ride him down. And then it's a picture of Jesse and Woody. Oh crap, what's the horse's name? The horse from Toy Story. It starts with a B, but I don't know it right
Bullseye?
now. Bullseye, yes. And they're racing down the track, so I thought that was funny.
Okay, in
And
my
then,
defense with this one, I was like, Kat's talking to someone about carpooling and she accidentally texted me because she's old and silly.
nope.
Nope.
Ooh, the next one, and once I fucked a guy because he had marionettes. You gave me laughing, rolling emojis and said, yeah, you're more likely to fuck a puppet guy than me. And then I responded with, apparently they have good finger dexterity, which was also a quote. And you just he. At that point, I thought you were on to me. Like at that point, I thought you knew what I was doing. And I'm like, oh shit, she's on to me, game over. But I wasn't going to ask you if it was game over, obviously. So then I texted you, we buddy read everything, which by the way is like one of my favorite quotes. It was fucking adorable. And you just said, I did not respond. And then the last one, pick a different door, which I also really liked, by the way. So cute. You responded with, And I feel like this is appropriate because it's very cyclical. You responded with, "Is that a book?" Which is what you said the first time. So thank you for playing my game with me.
Yeah.
Those were all of my favorite quotes from the book, by the way, as I came upon them.
Yeah.
And now that I've revealed my game, I will never be able to play it with you again.
Well,
But I will be doing it again for the next book in case you didn't think I was. I
I
will.
mean, fortunately for you, my ADHD brain is not going to remember this.
So excited.
God,
It was so much
because I
fun.
don't remember these things from the book.
I know. And I was like, shit, she's read it already. She's already done because it took me like 3 days. So I was like, she's already read it. She's gonna realize eventually. Nope. And it was so great.
My brain doesn't
Like
work that way.
I had so much fun. Thank you for providing me endless hours of entertainment.
You're a brat.
I know. But now that you're in on it, you're welcome. And it made for a good moment for me.
Man,
Anyway,
you were frustrating me with text this week too.
this book, a lot of really good quotes, like a lot of really good little snippets that were said, a lot of really good humorous moments to balance out the more serious ones, I felt,
I feel like
because
she always does like a really good job
mhm,
with that though.
yes, like
Yeah.
she understands this is going to be a really heavy topic.
Yeah.
Let me make sure that you're not going to
Mm-hmm.
completely lose it, which
Yeah.
I appreciate because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I don't want to cry the whole book.
Now, say you'll remember me. You've not read.
I am in the process of reading.
Okay. Now that one, yeah.
Yeah, so far it's been rough. So
Like I
it might take me
remember.
a little longer. It's
Yeah.
we're rough. We're
Yeah.
we're not yeah, that one I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I will say the night we met was also rough because some of that hit a little too close to home. And I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I love this.
Yeah.
But it was okay because it was a lot of like the secondary
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking forward to Mike's book, I will tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that one will be rough and I don't know that I want to play that game. So I'll let you know later if I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like a lot of them are like, really rough and like they just like pull at like your heartstrings.
Yeah,
But I also feel like the way that she does it, it's
it's well balanced.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, so going through like this book, like, yeah, like I liked Mike. I did not love Mike in this one, but I knew that, like I wanted Chris and Larissa to get together,
Hmm.
but like Larissa and Mike were together. And so if something happened to Mike, like what's gonna happen? Like I need these people to get together, but these people are together, and so, and he really likes her, so something big is going to have to like pull them apart.
Right, right,
And
because
and so then I'm like, "Oh my god, like if something big happens, like that's going to like I mean, it's probably going to like destroy Chris because like I mean,
yep.
like and like that I was like, "Oh my god, please like I don't know that like I don't know cuz like if they were to get together like after that, like
No, it was the whole thing kind of right, like you're anticipating some big fallout the
yeah,
entire story
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's where we're at. Like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, something
Mhm.
big is about to happen
Yep.
because obviously these two are going to end up together, or
Mhm.
at the very least, she's not going to end up with Mike because Mike is not in a place for that relationship.
Yeah.
And she wasn't really ever feeling it. He was just kind of like a nice distraction from her shitty life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as we were reading this, we had just finished earlier this year the Jeanette McCurdy book, which was also like that mother-daughter relationship. And I found myself comparing Larissa and her mom to the daughter mother-daughter relationship from the Jeanette McCurdy book, which I can't remember the name of right now. And I remember that the main character had a weird name, but I also don't remember
Half
that.
his age and
Wallace? No.
oh my god.
Waldo?
Waldo?
No. No.
Waldo, I feel like that's right.
Okay, we're gonna go with Waldo.
I feel
But
like
anyway,
that
that mother-daughter relationship in there,
yes.
just kind of where, but I feel like Larissa's, it wasn't worse than Waldo's relationship with her mother, but it was very, it was very similar. But I felt like Larissa was still very frustratingly giving her mom permission to
Call
not
her.
be helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she was just letting mom
Mhm.
lead her life
Oh yeah.
and dictate her life. And she was the adult in that relationship, very similar to how Waldo was the adult in her relationship with her mother. And it was kind of almost like, oh my gosh, this is just you in the future. Like, this is the path you're going down. I really liked Larissa, though. I thought she was fun. My prediction of a dog was correct. Yes, there was a dog.
Of course there was a dog.
Nadia Cakes wasn't there, though.
And so
I made it through the whole book. And I'm like, where the fuck is this? I just learned about this bakery Easter egg, and now it's not here. And then I listened to the author's note, and I'm like, oh,
so
that makes perfect sense.
Yep. So when Mike ordered those
that's what I was. I was like, yes, this is it. We're ready.
But then what happened with those? Where they like almost killed Larissa?
His fancy French macarons.
Yeah, like that. And then we get to the author's note, and she's like,
Right.
So in the author's note, like Abby, comes on, and she talks about like, hey, you always hear a reference to Nadia's cakes, and here's why. And she explains why. The reason why there was no reference to Nadia's cakes in this book, Larissa has a very, very serious nut allergy, and Nadia's Cakes is a bakery. And
we are not a nut-free bakery.
There are nuts around. And so she felt like that would have been distasteful.
Yes.
To Larissa's character to have that in there, which I really appreciated that,
So did I.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's actually kind of nice. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah. Like I really like that, like she like had that like foresight to like just do that,
Yeah.
But I really love how, like this was like a true like departure, I feel like, from her typical, she had this idea. So like you heard how she came up with this idea, like with Sloane, like what would have happened if Sloane had met Jason
while Brandon was still alive.
Yes. And then she like kind of started to work on this, and she was going to do this story
first.
Yeah. But
then was like, ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, like it's just like it really had to be like fleshed out, because like you have to do it right
and do it justice. Like I feel like she knew that it was going to get messy.
Yeah.
And needed the time to process that.
Yep. So that's why.
And she said that Xavier's story was easy to write. And so she was like, that one's coming first. And she said that she wrote Xavier's story like in a couple of months, and then had a little over a year to do because she's doing the 1 book a year releases. So, which I find fun. So about this time next year, I guess we'll be reading about how Becca died.
Stop it. Oh my God. We don't know that for sure.
Now I have another game I want to play.
Oh boy. Okay.
So both of these book titles are songs.
So you remember me and The Night We Met, okay?
Yes. Both of those are songs. What song, and I have not done any research, okay? Like I don't have a head start on this. What song do you think the next book will be named after? And I don't have anything. I have not given this any thought. Okay. Do we need a pause?
Oh wait, like are we like is this going to be like a year-long bet?
Do you want to, or do you want to save our response? Do we want to announce what our responses are on social media later?
Yeah.
Okay. So you heard it here first. Amanda and I are going to predict what we think the next song is going to be. Just blind predict, because based on either the story's either going to be about Mike or it's going to be about Jesse and dead Becca. She won't be dead. And maybe it'll just be like they fall apart, come back to no, but it doesn't matter. Stop predicting. That's nonsense. But yes, you heard it here first. We're going to try and decide what song title will be the next song title for the Abby Jimenez book coming out next year. We'll announce it on social. Okay. That's it. That's my game. Are you thinking about it now? Have I lost you?
Okay, so Say You'll Remember Me is the Spice Girls. Because The Night We Met is Lord Huron.
Yep. Okay, so it's not a title, it's lyrics. Sorry.
Oh.
It's a Taylor Swift lyric from Wildest Dreams. Oh. And it thematically fits with the book.
Wait, what is the song that I'm thinking of the Spice Girls? Isn't it Say You'll Remember Me?
Say You'll Be There?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Google. But yeah, so I'm sorry, not titles, lyrics. Ooh, that makes it way harder than I thought. Oh, this is what happens when I just think of things randomly. Oh man. Okay, I'm still willing for the challenge. It's just going to require more research.
Okay.
So it's not just titles. It
So
could be just lyrics,
so
but it
Jesse's
is
Girl is probably not going to be a good pick.
Now, both those songs here, I'm going to give you a hint.
I
I'm going
want
to
to
give
say
you,
four words. I think she
that's not
likes.
even, my hint's a good one.
Oh,
Both those songs came out in 2015. So I will be looking for songs that came out in 2015. Just,
okay.
I feel like it's got, right?
Yeah.
Am I onto something or have I just like dove off the deep end?
Okay.
I think I'm onto
Okay.
something. Anyway.
What are we betting? We're not betting anything. We're just betting bragging rights.
1 penny.
Those don't exist anymore.
Which will make it even harder. I have pennies. You don't have pennies anymore?
I do. I just don't like them.
So then the prize, I will give you, if I win, I will give you 1 Hello Kitty sticker. Or if I lose, I'll give you one of my puffy Hello Kitty stickers.
Okay.
What are you going to give me if I win? Just right in front of you on your desk. I'm ready.
Cough drop.
Yes, I'm so excited. Score. Okay, anyway, do you have anything else to add about this lovely book that we've read?
Oh, how many stars are you giving it?
4.5, I believe, is what I gave it. I might have given it 5. I also might not have reviewed yet. Like I might have.
I've gotten really bad about my reviews.
I didn't want to post it before we talked about it because then you would know my secrets.
Well, but I've gotten like the last I don't know 6 books that I've finished. I've not reviewed.
Oh, I haven't given it any stars yet. No, I think I would go 5.
That's your first of the year.
No, it's not.
I thought it was.
Nope. Sunrise on the Reaping was my first 5 of the year.
Okay, this is a 5 for me as well. Surprise!
I know. I mean, yes, it was good. I liked it.
All right. So, Kat, what's coming out this week?
Oh yeah, there's so much coming out this week. So
Yay!
buckle your seatbelt. I've made a beautiful list for you, and I started with a book that I think you're gonna read. Ready?
Yes.
It's got a long title too, though.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's called How to Be Okay When Nothing Is Okay. Tips and Tricks That Kept Me Alive, Happy, and Creative in Spite of Myself by Jennie Lawson. This is supposed to be, she's an author and a humorist, and she shares 100 tools and tricks that she relies on to keep going despite her depression, anxiety, and ADHD. And she wrote this book for Amanda. It's going to be in the little forward. It's going to be like, for Amanda. And
nobody else is allowed to read it but me.
But I feel like it sounds like something that you would gravitate towards. Yeah. But it also sounds interesting because I do like a list. Like, give me lists. I love lists. Anyway. That's the first book I've got on my list. My second book is The Far Away Inn by Sarah Beth Durst, which I am really excited about. Sarah Beth Durst is the author of The Spell Shop and The Enchanted Greenhouse. Yep. This is her first YA book, though.
So this is not within that series?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not within the same... Well, okay, but those weren't really a series so much as they were in the same universe.
Oh, okay.
They were kind of related, but not really related.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You could read them separate from each other.
So they weren't within the same world.
They're within the same world. So this, I don't think, is within the same world because this one's set in Vermont, whereas those other two are in a different world. Yeah. But basically, it's a teen goes to help her unwilling aunt. She owns a rural inn bed and breakfast situation, but then finds out that the inn is keeping some sort of magical secret. Magical realism, cozy. I'm really excited about this. This is
adorable.
So my jam. This next one, I don't think either of us are going to read it, but I would be remiss not to add it. Jan Martel of Life of Pi, which was hot shit years ago, has a new book. It's called Son of Nobody. It's being called a different spin Trojan War stories. Okay. Which seems appropriate because we do have a live action movie of the Odyssey coming out this year. Mm-hmm. And so it feels really appropriate to kind of be releasing things set in that same era. But so it's something similar to the Iliad and the Odyssey, but about different characters. Mm-hmm. But it also talks about the scholarly side of it. Yep. So it looks like we might have dual perspective, dual timeline situation. Okay. I don't know that I'm going to read it. I don't know that you're going to read it. But like I said, I feel like it's something someone's going to want.
Oh, yeah.
Just not us.
Yeah.
This next one also, maybe not you and I. This is a Coco book in my brain.
Okay.
So it's called Nothing Tastes as Good. Apparently, I don't care who the author is because I didn't put it on my stupid list.
Ooh.
1 minute. The author is Luc Dumas, or
Okay.
Dumas, if you want.
Oh,
I like
okay.
Dumas. It sounds fancy.
I think that's
This is a body horror thriller. I don't read those.
Yep.
But I think you do sometimes. Anyway, the specific one is about a man who joins a weight loss clinical trial for a drug called something ridiculous, and miraculous results, terrifying side effects. It had the word cannibalism in the description, and I was like, I think I'm okay, but that's coming out. Next one, The Governess's Guide to Spells and Managing Misfit Marquesses by Amy Rose Bennett. This one's being described as a cozy magic historical romance humor twist, right? Those are all things I like. It's a nanny with magical powers set in the Victorian era. It is being compared to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett.
okay.
So I'm thinking time and magic-y stuff. The next one is A Good Person by Kirsten King.
Okay.
This is a debut novel
Ooh.
from Kirsten King. It is a millennial anti-hero who accidentally kills like her ex fuck buddy with a hex, and then she's like gotta clear her name or convince people that she wasn't the one who did it. Seems like it'll be fun.
Okay.
Interesting at the very least. A Widow's Charm by Caitlin Paxson, also about death, because a widow, right? So a recent widow, her new neighbor is a necromancer. And so she has to try, and she's trying to convince him to revive her dead husband. But the necromancer, looks like he kind of starts falling for her. And then maybe she falls for him. So I don't know. Does he revive the husband and then they have a threesome? We'll find out.
Fun.
Yeah. Mothers and Other Strangers by Corey Ann Haydu is the next one. This sounds like lit fic to me. Childhood friends drifted apart. They reconnect as expectant mothers, only to find out that there's some sort of devastating secret from their mother's past that binds them together. And it says it explores like complicated mother-daughter relationships. So this feels like very contemporary lit kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then our last one, which is kind of a segue, is Game On by Nevessa Allen, which Amanda and I will be buddy reading for next week. This is the third in the trilogy by this author. And it's kind of one of those, if you know, you know situations. And if you don't know, you should go find out. I'm not going to tell you anything else. That's what's coming out this week. Please let us know what you're excited about for this week so that we can maybe add it to our never-ending TBRs. Amanda, are you adding any of my beautiful books to your TBR?
I'm adding a few of those, yeah.
So am I. Some of them I'm like, no, I'm not. But some of them, I'm pretty excited about some of these. Yeah. Anyway, hi Amanda, what's happening in the bookish world?
Oh boy. So I don't know that we talked about it while we were talking about the Abby book.
We didn't.
But you had mentioned that you felt like the Abby, like at the start of the audiobook, the trigger warning list was pretty exhaustive.
Yes, it's really long.
Yeah. And I agree. It was very long, and some of those I do agree, we didn't need. But also, she's doing it for a reason.
Yes, and I guess you stated it very well there. We didn't need it. But that doesn't mean that somebody else didn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I obviously am willing. I think she even says, like, if you don't like long trigger warnings, skip this part. And it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? You're right. I can always just skip over it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not there, someone who's not there, someone else.
Yeah.
If it's not there, then someone who needs it can't read it.
I mean, it's like, like the caution hot beverage on a coffee cup,
I also don't need that.
Yeah, but
I'm smart.
Somebody does.
Somebody does, you're right. That one lady.
So today we are talking trigger warnings. There has been some controversy as of late. Have you heard anything about Ava Reed and her new book, Inamorata?
actually heard a lot about Ava Reed and Inamorata and Ava Reed in general in the last few weeks, I think it's been.
Yeah.
Which I've never read anything by Ava Reed, but I
Mm-mm.
have seen like her stuff pop up.
Yep.
But I've never actually even been drawn to wanting to read it, really, though.
I think I am
So
now.
I will, and maybe I'm going to turn my light back on. Okay. And maybe, I don't know that okay. So here's what I've heard about Inamorata, and I've heard two separate things. And I'll start with the thing that's not related to the topic, and then we'll move to the other one. So the first thing that I heard about Inamorata was people were upset that it was being classified as the wrong type of book, and they were getting pissy with her. Like, oh, you're saying that this is a romantasy and it's not, it's definitely a dark romantasy, blah, 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 blah. But Ava Reed doesn't set the genre like that, right? Like she's not, that's marketing. That's all publishing. That is not within her wheel, right? Like, and then that led to the trigger warning stuff. People were like, well, you can't just list it as dark, right? Because the argument then came out with, well, it is said that it is a dark romantasy, and so it doesn't need trigger warnings because you know that it's a dark romantasy. And I'm like, wait, I'm confused. Did she say it was a dark romantasy? Did she say it was not a dark romantasy? What the fuck am I missing?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the book's classified as anymore. I'm now confused, but I do know that this book has no trigger warnings.
So what I am gathering is that there is some graphic content in here.
Yes.
There's rape.
Yes.
Possibly with a dead body.
I don't have anything about dead bodies, but I do have other things.
And let me pull up. So I found on. So I found. This is a throwback, but I found a Tumblr page.
Yeah, there's no one on Tumblr anymore. Like it's
but
there,
I found
it's kicking,
a Tumblr
but there's
page
no one
that
on
is
there.
talking about this. So on this Tumblr page, there is somebody was like messaged, hey, have you seen the controversy with this book? People are mad that the author had no trigger warnings. However, the author had included trigger warnings in a previous book and had gotten harassed and review bombed over it. Authors can't win nowadays. Reader spaces have become so entitled. And then this person goes on to share their thoughts. So this is not my first time hearing that title, but I didn't know there was drama surrounding this book. Sigh. Is it really so hard for people to visit the author's website or use sites which have heads-up features? An author doesn't owe anyone an exhaustive list of trigger warnings without the work itself.
Do they owe us trigger warning lists?
Do we have to have an exhaustive list in the book? No. Do we need at least, hey, this book contains, dark elements?
Yeah.
If you want a list of trigger warnings, go to my website.
Fair, okay.
It should have at least that. I don't really have any triggers, but there are people that,
right.
that do, and I mean, there are people that have been victims of sexual assault, and that's understandable, that they would be very triggered by a graphic scene of rape in a book. I get that. I sympathize with that. So there should be mention of that. If it's not an actual list, then there should at least be go to my website.
Yeah, so what I'm reading here from a Reddit post, by the way, is very similar to what you had, right? And her reasoning for not including the trigger warnings in the book is because readers felt like she was giving away details of the book, like that her trigger warnings were spoilers, is what readers were feeling, which I think is valid. And I think that your solution kind of fixes that, right? Like if you don't want the trigger warnings because you think they're going to be spoilers, and don't read them. Skip, but you could also just skip over them in the book. Personally, I don't have any trigger warnings. But personally, I would not want to have to go to a separate site to be able to find them. And I think that if you put them in the book, the reader can skip over. Do you know what else is in the book that I don't read? The publishing page. I don't read that. I am perfectly capable of skipping right over that.
Well, see, a lot of times when I open a book on my Kindle, it will open to the trigger warning page.
Yeah, and then I just skip right past.
Well, and I mean I might just I'm a fast reader, and so it's
I guess the solution to that though is just put it at the end of the book. So if I feel like I read a book where it was at the end of the book. So if you want the trigger warnings, they're at the end of the book. You can skip to them, read them, and then if you decide you want to read it, come back to it.
I do kind of feel like I have kind of always felt like they should be at the end,
Yeah. I just don't
but
want to have to go to another website to find them if I need them.
well, where was I? There was another page. Let me see if it's still up.
Oh, and apparently, according to this Reddit post, it has been discussed that she could just do a QR code or a website, and she refuses to do that.
Oh,
I literally just read it. So it says, a happy medium would, sorry, give me a second. Let me drink some water.
okay. Well, Kat does that. So on an Instagram post, and this was actually I will probably tag this post because this is where I first learned of the controversy. It is an Instagram reel by Kevin T. Norman. In the comments, Drop
Mm.
Bear Book Club says, if you are a reader that needs trigger warnings, it is your responsibility to research a book before you read it. And I mean, like if I am a reader and I have a very very strong trigger, I do feel like I should be the one responsible to go to the website or something. But if Ava Reed is not like is actually like saying like no, I'm like totally against like putting them on my website or whatever. Like that's I feel like that's kind of bullshit.
So in the original part of this post on Reddit, the person says a happy medium, it's a Reddit post. A happy medium would be including a note at the beginning of on the book with a QR code or a website where trigger warning content could be checked should the reader feel it necessary. But the author isn't even willing to do that. And it's honestly gross that the publisher isn't pushing for it in some capacity either. It's a shame because the book is truly well done, but I'm someone who just has zero triggers and will read just about anything content wise. And even I've had some good Lord moments with this one. So I think it's branching into two separate issues now.
Yeah, yeah.
The first issue is that she is refusing to include any trigger warnings. And then you're moving into that murky area of people just not appreciating what she wrote and thinking that maybe she's pushing the envelope too far. I think you've got a little bit of that dual thing happening.
Yeah. With that first point, like that I don't agree with that. And I mean like I think when we started this conversation I said like, I'm a little intrigued now by this book and I've not read any Ava Reed, but like now I kind of want to, and hearing that now I don't. If I mean like her like the audience is saying we want it. We may not want it in the book, but we want it. It's not that hard to just add a page to your website. The people that don't want to see it don't have to go to it, but to just say like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, and I think that is the issue that we're having. And some people are even going back, like saying that she's actually never had trigger warnings. And so now that's really interesting. But like I said, like we started this with, neither of us have read any of Ava Reed's books. So we cannot speak to the validity of whether there have been trigger warnings or have not been trigger warnings. All we know is that with this most recent book, there are no trigger warnings.
I feel like when, especially when you're like an author with like a publisher behind you, like you and like a large audience, you are now catering to what your audience, wants. Like, and if you have a number of people requesting something,
I guess that brings up another really great point. Should the publisher be pushing for it?
yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like at what point
Who is
does
the
this,
publisher?
thank you, at what point does this become the publisher's problem? So I'm on Ava Reed's Instagram now because it seems like that's where she is most active. And I'm looking at her post from 1 week ago. By the way, this book just came out.
Yeah.
I want to say that we featured it on one of our coming out lists.
Yeah, we did like 2 weeks
2 weeks
ago.
ago. Yeah, so a post from 1 week ago where she said, "Welcome to the Word of Inamorata." And then the very first comment is, "Beautiful cover, but are there really no content warnings?" And then the first response is, "Most books don't have trigger warnings, and this is a grim, dark fantasy, not a romance." And this said, I think trigger warning should be more common, but this book is following the conventions of its genre. But here's the thing, grim, dark fantasy is that's such an umbrella term. What does that mean? How is it grim? How is it dark? What do you mean?
And I feel like a lot of the books that I do read do have.
I think trigger warnings have become very common,
Yes.
even in grim, dark books.
Yes.
I'm thinking Butcher and Blackbird, right?
Yes.
Like we go in knowing that's a book about serial killers.
We go in knowing what food she's going to ruin for us.
Right, like that is, I mean, well, you now do because it's come out, but when that book was first released, he didn't know about the food thing yet. But anyway, that's a
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But the trigger warnings are there, but I knew that this book was going to be dark going into it, right? Anyway, I think this Inamorata book, by the way, from what I was just reading on Reddit, it has child assault in it, which is what the people are really in a tizzy about.
Okay.
So it has instances of like child sexual abuse that is not being trigger warned. And so that is what the people are like really pressed about.
Yeah.
Which understandably.
It's published by Del Rey, which is an imprint of Penguin Random House.
Oh, interesting. So I feel like Penguin Random House needs to do better.
Yeah.
And maybe trigger warnings should become an industry standard. Speaking of books without trigger warnings, we got another one. So right about the same time as Inamorata was kind of, all over the book sphere, another book and author had kind of come under critique. We're talking about Sibylline by Melissa Dela Cruz. Again, I have not read any Melissa Dela Cruz, but I'm pretty sure I have one of her books on my bookcase, probably at work though, because she is a YA author and she does a lot of like Disney crossover stuff. Like she's one of the official Disney book writers.
Oh.
Yeah, so like the Descendants stuff. Do you know the Descendants?
Yeah, yeah.
Melissa Dela Cruz is one of those writers. So it's not like she's just kind of writing Disney. No, Melissa Dela Cruz is writing for Disney.
Wow.
So I feel like a lot of the controversy that she is getting is, hey, this is a YA author that we know she's trusted in the industry.
So people will like see her book and pick up her book.
So people saw her book and picked up her book, which is still being advertised as YA, but apparently is also under scrutiny right now for possibly containing content that is not forewarned. And I think that it's mostly being under scrutiny because it's being marketed as YA. I don't know the trigger warning. Do you know the trigger warning situation for Sibylline?
Like the trigger warnings in the book?
Yeah, does it have any? I just found a fun website. I found a fun website just right now. It's called triggerwarningdatabase.com.
Fun. I don't know.
And according to triggerwarningdatabase.com, this has 2 trigger warnings, but I don't know if they're official or if somebody, gosh, let me read what this is about. Oh, this website's fun. Are you ready? Get ready. The books listed in or omitted from the database should not be taken as commentary on any particular book or author. This website is not a list of recommendations. There are inarguably problematic books listed and books authored by individuals we would never personally support. However, we cannot exclude any book, series, or author from the list in good conscience. There are certain books and authors we would not encourage you to read for a variety of reasons, but in the end, your reading is a matter of personal choice. We would rather provide you with content warnings so you can have a safe reading experience. If you are someone who is bothered by spoilers, please peruse the database with caution. Certain trigger warnings may reveal plot points that could be considered spoilers. And now I need to find out if Inamorata is on this list. Hi, how do I use this master list? There it is. Inamorata starts with an I. I wish they had a search feature. Maybe they do, and I just don't know where it is because I'm literally learning this site right now. Nope, I'm not seeing it. Huh. I'm not seeing it on here, which makes me think that they're only pulling books that have a trigger warning listed, but I am going to do just a basic Google search now. Okay, it looks like Inamorata is not on the trigger warning database, so that makes me think that they only include books that have trigger warnings. Oh wait, search by author. No, that's this thing that was on. You can also search by trigger warning. Oh, here we go. Okay, so there is an Ava Reed book on here, Oh, that's not Ava Reed, though. Trigger warnings database. You got the wrong authors listed for things.
Oh boy.
Do better.
Oh no.
Okay, so there is another Ava Reed book on here, Juniper and Thorn. And for that one, there are trigger warnings listed. So the trigger warning database may or may not be a resource for you. I don't know enough about it to tell you anything right now. Anyway, Sibylline. I don't know if it has trigger warnings because I went down a rabbit hole. Do you know?
Well, what we do know is that the book is marketed as YA, and there is a what is being called a graphic scene of 3 individuals.
That's a threesome.
One who is barely conscious.
That's not a threesome anymore.
One who is barely conscious and unable to give consent.
The trigger warning listed, by the way, is dubious consent scenario, including borderline necrophilia and blood and injury depiction. Somebody posted the dubious consent scenario clip somewhere on the internet, and I read it. And if I were reading an adult book, I don't know that I would have needed a trigger warning. But I did read it out of context as well. Like, right, I only read the little clip. And I didn't, in the clip that I read, did not grasp that one of those people was in a inebriated state. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was like out of context. So I didn't, like, from the clip that I read barely a page. It was not apparent that one of these people was maybe dead. What is borderline necrophilia? I know what necrophilia is.
Almost dead.
Then it's not necrophilia.
Like,
I don't know.
Made up to me.
I don't know if borderline necrophilia is a thing.
They are in the process of dying, but have not actually died.
But then it's not necrophilia.
No,
it's a bad idea, but it's not necrophilia.
Yeah. I don't
which is
know
also
that,
a bad idea.
I don't know that borderline necrophilia is a thing.
Yeah, I'm a little like about that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Should have done more research, but anyway, Melissa de la Cruz. I think the fact that she's a YA author kind of has to be taken out of it, but unfortunately cannot be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Apparently, when it was released as an ARC, it was stated that it was okay for 14 plus, and the people are not okay with that.
If there is, if there is a graphic scene with, a person who was not able to consent, I do not feel like that is something that should be in a YA marketed book.
And I feel like the solution is just to market it as an adult book. Yes. Like, YA authors are allowed to write adult books, just like adult authors are allowed to write YA books. Like, you're allowed to do that. And people, sure, some people are going to pick up the book because you're the author and they're excited that you're the author, but you don't owe it to anyone to stick to a specific niche, right? Like, you can write what you want to write.
Yeah. And and this is also where, like, pen names can come into play. Like, if you want to, go way off course with, like, your genre, like, add in a fun pen name.
Yeah.
So, fun tea for us this week. Oh, Kat's got her research face still on.
I'm still reading. I'm in Reddit now, and I need to get out.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're gonna end this episode while Kat
we should end this episode, and I will close my tabs. I'm out of Reddit. I've exited fully. I will not be re-entering either. I do not care enough about Melissa de la Cruz to re-enter the Reddit sphere.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Have a great week and happy reading. Bye.
Bye.